Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today we are on part 2 of our Deconstructed Nested Envelopes Junk Journal. And in this little video, we're going to be attaching all the envelopes together and doing a little bit of decorating. But first, let's have our shout out to Junk Journal Diva, Channy, Kelly, Joan, Serenity, and Pamela. I appreciate each and every one of you. So if you have not seen the first part and how we got to this step here, that's part 1. In the name of the title is Deconstructed Nested Envelopes Part 1. It is in the playlist under Fabulous Friday Junk Journal Series. That's where you'll find it. All right, so I have completed all of my envelopes, meaning I've sewn in all of my signatures and made sure we had the right amount of pages in each one. Let's go ahead and let me show you how I attach them together. I start with the largest envelope, and I have this flap on the top. I've ripped myself some coffee dyed cotton strips that are 1/2 inch wide, and they were just as long as my piece that I had. What I want to do is I want to bring in, we have 4 of these. I want to bring in my, I think I put this one next. Yeah, I did. This one right here is the one I did next. So it is the 6.5 by 3.5 size envelope. And I want to put it right down on here just like this. Now, remember we used our template and to put in our signature, to sew in our signature. So I'm using the center hole. There's the hole here and a hole here, and there's the center hole. And I'm using the center hole of this envelope as well as this, and I want to line the center hole up together. All right, so I'm going to lay it out just like this with the center hole together. Here's the center hole right here, and the center hole is right here. And I'm going to line it up just like this. And then what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put, I can go ahead and cut this. I think I want my strips to be about maybe 2 inches long. That's plenty. So I'm going to get me a couple of these, cut a couple of them. All right, so I've got 2. I might as well cut some more while I'm at it. There's another one and another one. This one's too little. I'm going to set that aside so I don't get confused. Put those right there. I'm going to hold this. This is the fiddliest part of the whole thing. I'm going to hold it together right where the 2 holes are for the center of this envelope and the center of this envelope. And I'm going to attach it, putting a little line of glue across this way, and I'm simply going to lay my fabric, which is going to be my hinge, right across there, just like that. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing right up here, right across there, and I'm just going to lay this right over. It's kind of like putting a band-aid on. That's what my brain is saying I'm doing, is put the band-aid on. All right, so we've got our first one sewn in, or glued in. Okay. All right, so now we're raised up a little bit, right? We're raised up. So I've got my little packing pieces that I use when I sew in a signature. I'm bringing one of them. I have 2 of them. I'm going to bring this one in because what I want to do is I want to place this one now. Okay, it's going to go in like this, but we're going to turn it over. So it's going to be sewn in like this, and I'm doing the exact same thing. And this just makes it level. Now it's level. It's easy for me to do this. I'm doing the exact same thing. The center hole and the center hole. The center hole of this envelope now and the center hole of this envelope now. Now we're going to get those two strips that I cut earlier, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I'm going to hold it as I put my glue, and I need to add another glue stick in my glue gun. Sorry guys, I just realized that. And I'm using hot glue because it enables me to make this video and keep going, because otherwise I'd have to wait for the glue to dry, and then that would almost be impossible for me to keep going and show you how to make this. Alright, so I'm going to add my glue right across here, and I'm going to put on my little strip that we cut. I'm just going to press it down, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing right up here with my finger, a little bit of glue, and add my little piece just like that. Very nice. Now we've got 3 of them. Okay, and it looks just like that, and then of course this one looks just like this. All right. I said I had my other packing piece. I'm going to put the 2 on top of each other because I'm a little higher yet. Now this one, this envelope, instead of going this way, I want to go this way because this is my pretty front, right? My top, my front of my so-called cover, which really isn't a cover, but it's a deconstructed. Okay, so I'm going to line it up again. Oh, I need to cut 2 before I do anything else. I need to cut 2. So there's 1, and then lay this out, and there's 2. There we go. I'll just put that right there. Okay, back to this. Put it as close as I can, as straight as I can. Where did I put? Here they are. And okay, like I said, this is the fiddliest part of the whole thing. Okay, adding my glue, adding my piece of fabric right on top, getting it to glue together. It's nice and stuck. Doing the same thing here. Adding my piece of fabric right across, pressing it down. And now we're just like this. So it's stair-stepped. Okay, it's nested, it's deconstructed nesting. Okay, nesting, you know how they fit inside each other. Well, this is deconstructed. It now is stacked on top of each other. And what I want to do now is we're going to decorate a little bit. I have got a paper clip that I just put some of this cotton that I used for hinges and a little bit of lace, and I just tied it onto a paper clip just like that. And I just think it's really cute just to stick it on here. You could add something to it, and you know, it just adds a little something, and then you can also use the paper clip. And then I am going to grab a couple of paper clips so that I can hold this shut a little bit better, because what I want to do, let's get this, there we go. What I want to do is bring in some of this lace. Now I am using 1924 Linens and More. I'm using their vintage laces, and I have this one in my pile. This is the same piece. Now I had a bigger piece, and I used that piece right here for my example when I made it. And I thought, oh, it was so beautiful on there that I would like to go ahead and use it on this one as well. So basically it's cut It was already cut this size, but it's cut and it's a same size, same length as the top envelope. So how perfect is that? I don't need to cut any extra off. And what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of glue right here on the top, on the end that has the signature sewing, because you know we've secured it on the inside with our hinges. Now we need to secure it on the outside where it's still open and looks just like this. So that's what we're doing now. So I'm going to lay my glue here, and then I'm just going to place this over and press it down. So let's go ahead and let's do this. I'm just looking at it to see how far in I want to go. I need to go far enough that it's well secured, but I don't want to cover up too much of my beautiful decoration here, the digital from Roxy's Creation. I don't want to cover that up too much. So adding my glue, adding my lace right on this glue, and then I'm just going to use my stick to press it down to make sure it's secure. Just like this. Wonderful. Very wonderful. The next thing that I want to do, I'm just cleaning off my stick a little bit, all right, is I'm going to pull this around to the back, and I'm going to glue it onto the back now. Okay, so yeah, I'm not pulling it so much that, you know, I'm warping it or anything, but I am pulling it taut, so it's tight. Adding my glue right here, so I'm not going any wider than my lace itself. Adding this right here like this, and then just simply pulling this over, and then I'm going to press it down just like that. Wonderful. Now I don't want all of that, my glue's on here, I don't want all of that to be, just cleaning off my stick, I don't want all this on here, so I'm just going to trim it off right here. So giving it a trim, and I'm going to bring in another one of my strips. My strips will have to have a longer one than that. One of these. Remember I had a whole bunch I made for my hinges? I'm going to use one of these, and I'm going to secure that edge of that lace down. Plus, just notice it takes the head right off of my bird. Oh dear. Well, I can't help that. It needs to be secured. So I'm just going to lay my glue, a bead of glue, all the way down, just like this, all the way down, and then simply lay my fabric right down over the top, pressing it down. This is on the back. If that bothers someone, you could always place a nice little label. I think I have one right here. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but you could put a label or something, and you could cover this up. You could be creative in that way. It's on the back, so I'm not going to worry about it, but I'm going to trim my ends just a little bit, just like that. Now let's go ahead and let's look at how it worked. So we're going to open it up. It worked perfectly. So now I can go back and trim this up and, you know, or glue it down, however I want to take care of this extra. We're not going to worry about that right now. Let's continue on decorating the front. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it just a little bit better. I really like this construction. It's secure, it's pretty, and it wasn't hard at all. A little fiddly, but that's really all there was, is just a little bit of, you know, finagling. I went ahead and I put a bulb safety pin, a little vintage lace, and a button. And then I took my buttons and I selected 3. A pale blue one, a creamy one, and a little whiter one. And I took some seed beads, and each button has 2 strands because I tied it in the holes, and I strung some seed beads on there, just like I did when I showed you my example right here. I used pink, white, and kind of a tan color. And this one, I've chosen blue, white, and a cream because of the colors on this front or smallest envelope. That's what I use to determine the colors of my beads. Now I'm just going to lay them right here. Let's see, what do I want to say I'm doing? I am positioning the largest envelope on the same line of my grid, which will make it so I can place my buttons. I'm going to use the dotted line here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it will make it even. It will make it eye appealing, that it's not exactly perfect, but it's going to, let me see, it's going to make it as close to being, you know, the same amount of space here as between, so it's not off. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just, without getting my head in here, I'm trying to make it so it's, and I think I want it to be there. I think so. So I'm simply going to pick these up, put my glue on the back side. I'm going to do enough glue that it's going to come through the holes. I want the glue to come through the holes because that's what's going to really anchor that button on. So if you're adding glue to your buttons, I suggest you add enough that it comes through the holes of the button to make sure it's going to grab hold, get in those holes, and secure your button. Adding the last ones here. There we go. Oh, I think that's so cute. Alrighty, the next thing that I want to do is bringing in my little dish. I've got lots of different laces here. Let's see, how are we going to add some laces? I've kind of, that's really pretty because it's going to fall over the coffee dyed lined paper. I like that there. So let's go ahead and let's glue this one right on here. I'm going to move this over here. I don't want to forget to use it. I've got to lay some lace down before I can use it. I don't want to put it too far because I don't want it to go over the lined paper. Let's see, where are we here? Here we are. I don't want it to go over the lined paper. So that's as far as I can have it stick out. Yeah, I want it to be like that. Is that the right side? This is one of those laces. I can't really tell what's the right side and what's not the right side. I think that I'm just trying to position it. I think that's pretty good. So let's go ahead. I need to cut that little piece off right there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And I'm going to hold it like this. I need a few more paper clips on here, don't I, to help me hold it open. Okay, just let go, Cathy. There. Now, position it again. I'm trying to do something here. I want to make sure you can see too what I'm trying to do. I want it to be, I think this is the right side, but to me this is heavier, or I wanted it to be, I can't put it upside down. It's got to be right side, so it's going to have to go, like this, further in, a little further in. Maybe something like there. That's what I want right there. Okay, so I'm going to try to open this up and keep it in place. Oh, pretty close. I'm going to fold it back and just add a little bit of glue just to get us started here. And lay it back. I'm going to use my little stick and attach my glue to my lace. Now I'm going to do the edge right here. Laying this over and then laying that down just like that. Okay. Oh yeah, that is really, really pretty. Now, the next one is I want to put some lace right here on this one right here. And I've got a lot to choose from here. This one's not vintage, this one's new, but keeping with maybe a vintage look, I'd like to have it as long as that piece is. Ooh, look at this piece. What happens if we stick, well, this is the one that we put the paper clip on. I'm going to just move that paper clip over a little bit. See if that helps. That we can still maybe use a piece of this. Oh goodness. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That's gorgeous. All right, so I think I just want a piece of it, and I'm not going to use all of this. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to, I do need this whole length. I need all of that length. I'm going to go around this flower, back over, and I'm just going to cut along there. So now I've got this piece like this, and it's thinner on the top than it is on the bottom because that's just the way the piece was. And let's go ahead and just catch the edge right there and glue it on. So adding a little bit of glue, getting in a position here so you guys can see. I'm just doing a little bit at a time because hot glue dries very quickly, and if I try to put it all down at once, I may not be able to get this positioned how I want it. So now I'm just, I can, since I've got it secured, I can just go ahead and put the rest of the glue down and then just lay this right on there and then press it so that it gets glued on nicely. It'll go through the holes, it'll go through the fabric, and it will get glued on. Oh goodness, we're just looking so beautiful. All right, so now the next envelope is this one right here. This one's kind of tucked down. You can't really see it as well, and I kind of couldn't decide if I wanted this one that sticks out a little more on top or underneath. I decided to go on this bigger one on top, the wider one, and the longer one on the bottom, just because it is longer. And that's why I chose that. You might want to reverse it if you would rather do that. And I don't really want to cover up my butterfly. So I have an option of going on this side and letting it stick out this way. So let's just kind of experiment and look and see how that looks. I can't really tell when it's shut, but you are going to be able to tell as you open it up. Now, do I really want that one, or do I want something a little lighter? Maybe something like this. Now this is a totally different look. It's heavier, but yet it's not as wide. And if we put this on here like that, you really don't see it except for a little bit on the ends. But when you get to this part, it would look just like this. I can't really decide what I want to do. I also have this one, which is much heavier. I would need to attach it on the back because I don't want to cover up my birdie. And then it would look like this. I just don't know. I kind of like the light color. I like the white. I like the color of the white. So I really have two that are white. I've got this one as a piece of what we used in the beginning. And what we did with this one, remember on my example, I put some right here. Now, this isn't long enough to go on either side. This one right here, I've got a piece of this. I think I want this for the bottom, the back. Right here, I just don't really know what I want right there. I have the white, which is not vintage, but what do we think of that right there? It's okay. I really think I like this on there. Now I also have this. This is not vintage. And I could stick this right here. So let me decide what I want to do here. All right, so what I think I'd like to do is use this because I like the color. And I'm going to open this up to the back large envelope, and it's papers right here. This is where I'm going to be sticking this because the papers show when we get this all closed. So I'm just going to glue this right on there, just like that. So adding my glue onto the paper, and then just laying this right on the paper. And I'm just using my little stick to help me. Okay, so I got that down. Now let's give that a trim. Let's do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm going to turn it upside down, remembering that I use this part as the inside and this part as the outside. So doing the exact same thing here and just laying this down just like that. Alrighty, and then trimming that. Now let's see how this is all coming together. Let's look at this. Oh, I absolutely love it. Now the very back one right here, I thought I would like to use this one right here. This is the one we used when I made my example. This is the same lace, and I'm going to have it stick out just a little bit. So I just look at the design on my lace, and this little flower right here and here and here, it goes across. I'm going to just barely catch that petal right there on the edge of the journal itself to kind of help me keep this lace fairly straight. Okay, so I'm just adding my glue. Then I'm going to try to do just what I said, catching that flower just right there. I think that's pretty good. Pressing it down using my stick to help me. It's just a silicone stick one of my subscribers gave me in Happy Meal, and it's coming in so very handy. Thank you so very much for sending that to me. It was very sweet and very useful. I used to use a spoon, but this stick is much handier. Alrighty, so I've got that. Let's see how this looks now. Oh, goodness gracious, you guys. I'm going to put it on my shirt so it pops out a little more. What do you think? Oh, I think it looks fantastic. Now, this is where I think we can add our bulb pin. And I'm thinking I can put it right here. I'm hoping I can get it in here. Okay, let's get it shut. I'm hoping it will show right here. Oh, that's pretty cute. Even works as a little bit of a dangle. Oh, it's coming together so nicely. So we're at 29 and 36 seconds, something like that. I'm going to finish a little here and there. I'm going to go ahead and add some things to the pockets and maybe a few other things, clip something underneath this paper clip. I'm also going to do the exact same thing to the example that I have here. Oh, and tying it off. I have another little piece of that, and this is vintage from 1924 Linens and More. And you know, because we put the lace here on the edge, I didn't want to mess that up. So I'm just going to wrap it around the long way, the exact same way that I did when I made my example. This is a little bit different. It's a little bit different style. And I'm just going to tie me a little bow right here. What I was saying was I'm going to pop these over on my Etsy shop. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.